No problem at all. How many more people are going to join today? I was away last week, and so I've been a bit late in getting some of the invites out.
Okay.
No problem at all. Oh, let me check. People are going to join today. I was a bit sorry. I was away last week, and so I've been a bit late in getting some of the invites. Bear with me. Technical issues.
It's okay.
Just need to turn on. Going to join today. I was a bit sorry. I was away. Right, there we go. Sorry about that. Okay, so let me just tell you a little bit about Website Wednesday. So the idea is that this is my kind of weekly forum, huddle, meetup, whatever you'd like to call it, where I sort of share some of my knowledge around search engine optimization, websites and content marketing. And I work with service providers, businesses like consultants, coaches, and help them to improve their online visibility and presence with a view to getting more organic traffic through their website. So I always kind of say that SEO is about little and often action. And so the idea is that I can help kind of explain some of the things you might need to do to your website so that you can start taking some regular action. Okay, I've just had a message from Ali saying she's trying to get on. I have to register.
Okay.
Sorry about that. So we've got another one joining us in a second. The beauty of live.
Yeah.
Okay, so what I wanted to talk about was kind of managing expectations around how long SEO takes to work, because whilst organic traffic is actually one of the best performing channels for marketing, I haven't got the stats to hand, but ultimately more people click on organic search results rather than paid search results, but also the return on investment compared to, say, social media is a lot greater. And but SEO isn't a quick win, unfortunately. SEO does take time, and it's a bit like a piece of string. How long does it take? It's not necessarily something that you can quantify in that respect, but it could be 6 months to a year, depends on your industry, depends on how frequently you're doing changes and creating content for your website. But I've always been very open and clear with my clients and my members in my community about, hi Ali, about how long SEO takes, because whilst it's not a quick win, it is actually really worth considering and baking into your business processes, because it can serve you for a long time going forward. But I guess we live in this world where, you know, we're kind of used to instant gratification. We're used to being able to have things happen really, really quickly. And sometimes, particularly when it comes to our businesses, it's frustrating when we can't see those results really quickly. So that's what I sort of wanted to talk about today. I'm interested in kind of your thoughts on this, Yasmin, with regards to your business website and whether SEO is something that you do much of.
I will give you a bit about me in a second. I think Ali's mic is off. I don't know if she wants her mic on or off.
Stupidly, I've put the dishwasher on. So I just thought, to save having lots of background noise, I would just speak when I speak.
Okay. Also,
I can't hear any dishwasher, if that's any consolation.
Yeah,
I can.
Okay. Yeah, I can't hear anything either.
Hi, Yasmin. Nice to meet you.
Hi. Let me just put my... Oh, there it is.
There we go. Hi. Brilliant. Hi, that's better.
So if I just tell you a bit about myself. So I've been working in PI and HR for about, I think, 8 months now, since October. And I started off as a freelancer. And predominantly my job is to do the marketing stuff for PR and HR rather than for our clients. There are a few things that I do regarding our clients, but mainly it's just for pay and then the stuff for the business. Prior to that, I don't actually have any training because this is my first PR and marketing job. So I have a general understanding on SEO and things like that because at uni, the course I took, I took media and English because at the time I wanted to go into journalism. So I understand generally things about that, and I understand SEO as a concept. Doing it for the job currently, so what I do SEO on is, so we have a blog that goes out every month. Every week on a Monday we have HR Pulse that goes out, and I'm the editor for that, and then I post those as well. So I do the SEO for that, which I think is very basic level SEO. So it would be you know, when you have like the website name and then it's in like black and then there's like text in gray, and
do you
it's
mean
kind of like
in the search result bit, or do you mean? Yes,
yeah,
I know.
so I like adjust that, and there's a few things I do here and there, but I don't think there's anything I do extensively. That's partly because I don't know exactly what I'm supposed to do because I haven't had SEO training. And also, I just don't know what I don't know.
Yeah.
So it's hard for me to go out and learn it if I don't know what I'm supposed to be looking for.
Yeah.
So yeah, there are a few things I do and a few things I've picked up over time. And I also do the social media for PI and HR as well. And generally just from using social media, I understand those things. But I think personally, I need a lot of training in SEO and probably marketing as well, because my course wasn't geared towards that. Just to help like the company grow and things like that.
Yes. Yeah, no, that's really, really helpful to kind of understand where you're at with it all. So I know Kay from something like a mastermind that we're in together. So I know a little bit about PR and HR, sorry. So yeah, so that's really useful to sort of know about. And Ali's an existing client who has a website, and the SEO side of it isn't up together, but then that's something you've kind of wondered if you needed because of your sort of target market. I would always advocate that it is worth getting the optimization side of it sorted. So yeah, so thank you very much. Anything you'd like to add, Ali?
No, to be honest, Yasmin, Natalie tells me all the time that I need more of this and I need more of this and I need more of this. And a lot of my work comes through referrals. So I help current food businesses and food brands and food entrepreneurs get their products retail ready and then in front of the right supermarket buyer. So having sold to supermarket buyers for 20 odd years, rather than work for the big corporate companies, I decided 6 years ago to go on my own and help smaller food brands and people that kind of need that support but can't afford to employ a national account manager full time.
Okay.
Yeah. So yeah, food. We love food. And I know I definitely need SEO and all these good things, but a lot of my work comes through referrals and through LinkedIn, and so I probably haven't maximized my website as much as Natalie would like. That's a diplomatic answer.
That's it. Well done. Okay, well, so what I wanted to do today was to share 6 reasons why SEO stands the test of time. So talk about how SEO isn't instant, how it takes time to get a website ranking for keywords or even being indexed in the search engines. And I did a masterclass on website visibility, which is available on my website for the replay, which might be worth having a look at, where I talk about crawling, indexing and ranking within, say, Google as an example. So as I said, I make no bones about the fact SEO takes time. If you want that instant gratification and that quick win, then that's the paid ads route in the short term while SEO beds in. But it is worth the time and effort with SEO, because I see a lot of businesses putting effort into social media, and a lot of that content has a time restriction where you won't necessarily see it for a long time going forward. Whereas with your website and organic traffic, it's more magnetically pulling people to your website because they're finding your content and it's answering a question that they're struggling with. So the first reason why I say SEO stands the test of time is because organic traffic is sustainable. You know, SEO helps your website to do that, attract that targeted and relevant traffic. But that traffic isn't going anywhere. Those opportunities are there. And so therefore, it's not going to be a one-hit wonder. If you can align your website with those searches, those relevant searches, then that's going to see you good for a long time. The second reason is because user intent. SEO is a lot about the intent of the search. So for example, someone might be searching for an answer to a question, which would be them at the research stage. So therefore they are looking for information. So that would be an informational search. And a blog would be a perfect example of a piece of content. A more transactional or commercial search would be when someone is looking for a service. And so having the right content to align with that type of search would be more of a landing page, or I like to call a money page. So user intent, again, that's not going to change overnight either. And so making sure that your content is matching those different types of intent means that, you know, you're creating content that is user focused, and that is a really important signal for Google and for potential customers. The third reason is the algorithms. They're constantly being refined, and there's going to be a lot of disruption with all this AI generative stuff that's going on at the moment. But the core principles of SEO remain the same. So whilst we have to update things in line with the algorithms and in line with user experiences, ultimately it comes down to creating great content that is relevant to your ideal customer, that is optimized properly with all the right markup. And once you've kind of got your website under more control, it's not as much work then to go and do these bits and pieces. So, for example, you might, rather than write a new blog, you might consider going to a blog from last year, or a blog that had some good engagement, and adjusting that blog and bringing it up to date, rather than going and, because, you know, creating a new blog takes a lot of time. So that's the kind of, those kinds of tactics are very, very helpful for keeping up with the algorithms. Number 4, SEO, it's return on investment really. SEO requires consistency, and we're used to that with social media, and yet for some reason businesses don't necessarily, or small businesses that I work with, don't necessarily put that consistency into creating blog content and creating things consistently for their website to drive traffic there. But it compounds over time. So the return on investment might not be instant, but over time, as you build up that content, you will start to see that benefit of that traffic coming to your site, and hopefully them taking the next step, which is what we call conversion optimization. Number 5, 2 more, and then we can chat. Number 5, builds up trust with the search engine. So again, the fact that it's not instant, building up trust in any capacity with a friendship, a relationship, a client, it all takes time. And so again, building that trust with the search engines and the prospects, that happens by being consistent, by creating great content and being seen as a reputable source of content, of information. So that's another reason why it's not a one-hit wonder, SEO. And then finally, you've got to be in it to win it. So if you want to keep up with the competition, you've got to have that online SEO presence to preserve your visibility. And again, once you've got a stronger presence and visibility with your website, then kind of tweaking it over time doesn't have to be such an arduous task. So yeah, that was my kind of 6 things I wanted to share today. And I'd love to kind of open the floor to questions and comments. And
Yasmin, I'll let you go first. It sounds like you need this expert advice way more. I've heard a lot of what Natalie said previously, but I just think it's such a relevant subject at the moment, being able to just continually keep it in your mind so that then when you are doing blogs or articles or, that you're making the right steps, if you like, as you say, for the long term.
Yeah.
So with the company currently, we do have like a few blogs that we refresh and put those out, and then we which is more of like a feature, and then we have the consistent one that we do on news within the HR field, which does seem to be quite useful for people. We also have a webinar series that's been going on since I think February, which is doing quite well recently, especially with like guests and stuff. Kay's been able to get a lot of really cool guests, and actually from watching or from interacting with the guests, and because I do the tech side of the webinar, just like monitoring it, I've learned a lot from the guests as well, which is really cool and interesting. But I still don't know how to make the features and things that I write perform better, because they do seem quite useful, and we do put out email campaigns as well as posting them generally on socials, which I think probably does help, but I still don't know if it's working, if there's something I should do more. Also, like you said, it is a long game, so I understand, and even so I've been doing marketing things for about 8 months, but there have been things that we've introduced quite recently. So with the email campaigns and stuff, that's become more consistent quite recently in the past month or 2, I think. Mm-hmm. So with that, I understand that, yes, I do need to wait a bit to see if we are getting responses from that as well. I don't know if I'm going in the right direction, and that's mostly to do with my lack of knowledge within SEO.
Yeah. And see, with SEO, you need some tools to help you. So you've got Google Search Console, which I like to explain as is your website from Google's perspective. So if there's any kind of issues with errors, or if your sitemap hasn't gone up properly or whatever, that is a really good place to sort of keep an eye on things. And then you've got Google Analytics, which is changing because on the 1st of July, it's the original version is going to be sunset, if you like, and then GA4 is going to be the only one. So that is your website from the user's perspective. So then you can see kind of what their hopefully you've got that set up already. And then finally, you've got the, Google Business Profile, which is another free tool, used to be Google My Business, and that is for local search and Google Maps, so being on the Google Maps. And if if you don't want to show an address, there is a way around it, but I would still question whether, it's great to have your address on there, because then you can be attracting people locally. Downside of those tools are they're not very user friendly. And so I have a platform tool that combines the three into one interface, and it actually kind of translates that in a much more easy to understand way. And so it's a great starting point having that tool, because it reduces having to, you can still go into the individual tools, and sometimes it's worth doing that, but just having it in one interface is actually really, really helpful. And I found with some of my, because I run a program and membership for like in a group environment, and I found that using that tool as our main kind of point of contact and driver helps then when I'm trying to teach them SEO training and tactics, because we can actually see what's changing and what's happening. So for example, if you had identified keywords that were really worthwhile for your ideal customer and that might attract them to you, then you have those in the platform, and you can then see how, if you weave those keywords into your blogs, for example, you can see how they're performing. You can see that going up the search engine results pages with a view to getting you onto page 1, which is the bit that takes time. So it's a much easier way of kind of learning and seeing, you've taken some action, right, let's see what happens this week with those keywords. And I did a little tweak on a blog, just because I'm always testing this stuff for myself. And it was a blog that was ranking in the search results, but it wasn't particularly high. So when I say ranking, I mean the first 10 pages of Google means you're ranking, but it's that page 1 that we want. And so just by making some tweaks and doing a bit of research and looking at similar blogs, I was able to get that blog a bit higher. But because of the platform, I'm able to measure that really, really easily. So that might be something I could talk to you further about, or speak to Kay about. And, training is definitely something I do with SEO, because I believe that businesses should be keeping it in-house and learning it for themselves rather than outsourcing it. So, yeah, that's definitely something I'd be very happy to talk to you about. Yeah, cool. And yeah, so there we go. That's Website Wednesday. Any other comments or any other questions?
I do have a quick question, and it might be completely off topic. Mm-hmm. But I spoke to a guy yesterday who wants SEO, but he also he needs to raise his social presence. And I just wondered how best, he asked me if I knew of anybody who would be able to sort of assist with that, because before I think I can engage and start to work with him, his social media presence has got to be raised. It's quite a new brand, or a repurposed brand, if you like. So is that something that you could help him with, or would I be better off just going to people who do social media sort of training?
Okay, so what I would say is that social media is brilliant, and it's a great, important part of the marketing mix. The downside is that if you're growing a following over there, just over there, and not driving them to your website and getting their email address, then essentially it's vanity metrics, because you don't know exactly if your ideal customer is in there. But also, more importantly, and worryingly, if you put all that effort into growing a social channel, and I've had a couple of clients now who've had their social Instagram hacked, and they've lost control, and then they can never get hold of anybody, and had to start again. So yes, yes, social media is important, but it's all about kind of starting more from the website.
Growing your email list.
Growing your email list, exactly. So
that's what I told him. I did say to him that he kind of needs to do. Well, I spoke to two guys yesterday. The one was definitely just wanting to grow his social media presence because of it's a new food brand. The other guy is a startup, and he hasn't identified kind of who is ideal target, because I said what you need to understand is who is your ideal customer, then you need to find out where they hang out, and as soon as you know that, whether it's a social media platform but then you need to get them within essentially in your email list so that you've got a point of contact, and actually then if you're going to do an offer or service, you can email them directly, but you can do it as a group email rather than having to individually send emails to people. So I'm just hoping that I have given him the right advice.
Yeah, I mean, with startups, that's the challenge, is a lot is going to change in that first year as they're finding their feet, but it all comes down to the problem they solve. And so this yes, ideal customer, we talk a lot about that, but actually there's a bit before that, because you might have more than one ideal customer, but you still solve the same problem. It's just how you talk about it and package it up might be different per different ideal customer. So that's where kind of the process of problem you solve, meeting their customer where they're at, is really important. And that's something I can help with in terms of a workshop, like one piece of work which outputs lots of content ideas, lots of social media content ideas, but also, blog content ideas, because you're really thinking like them. You're stepping into their shoes and going, well, what is the problem I solve? So yes, you have given him good advice. Growing an email list is it's more of a business asset, whereas a social media following isn't.
Social media does then give you, to a certain degree, a bit of social proof. So if we were going to take his product to a supermarket buyer right now, the supermarket buyer will have no clue. They will never have heard of them. There won't really be any kind of social proof out there, I guess. So hence the reason. So two different people and two kind of very different ways of how they need to approach things. I think that's
but social media is more brand awareness. Whereas social proof is more, proof is in the pudding, food analogy. It's more of when you've worked with somebody and they've given you feedback, and then social proof, which of course you can share on social media. Absolutely. So again, happy to this platform, I think, might help that first person as well, because the problem with SEO is it's a huge topic. It is massive, and there's so many little moving parts, and so many things you need to get right, and it can be quite overwhelming. And so, having tested this now with some members, having this tool has really sort of bridged that gap, and can work really well for a new person wanting to learn more about SEO. So hence why I kind of mentioned it today.
Cool.
Yeah. Well, you're welcome. Did you have any other questions, Yasmin?
So I will discuss what we've talked about today with Kay. I just wanted a bit more information on the training that you provide, just because, again, I don't know what that would look like. So can you give me an idea what the training would be like?
So I've got a number of ways of working. One is on a consultative level, where I would actually come in and do some analysis of your competitors, of your website, of keywords that you are ranking for, etc. And then work kind of with you to help you map out the right content, etc. So that's one way. The other way is training. So we could do training is quite hard to do in a group. It has to kind of be one-to-one, but that's something that could easily be done online. And then I have my group program as well, which is really suited to business owners, which probably wouldn't really suit you as much. So yeah, that's kind of the 3 ways of working. So the training, I can then be a little bit more, I can kind of react and fit it a bit more to where you're at, rather than following a set process. Yeah. So yeah, have a chat with Kay, and then, you know, I can follow up with you or with her, and we can kind of see if there's anything, you know, that any sort of good fit and synergy where I'll be able to help you, because it's I love it. I love the training and consulting and that side of it. Yeah, really, really rewarding. So yeah, cool. Well, thank you so much for coming today, both of you. Great to see you, and hope you've, well, is there one thing that you could take away as a nugget from today that you feel like you have kind of learned that's been useful?
I think the bit that you guys just mentioned, where social media is just brand awareness and the website needs to be more of a focus, was interesting, because I think we are putting a lot of effort into social media, and we do have a growing email list, but I now realize that how important the email list is. Mm-hmm. So that is interesting. Yeah.
Excellent. Good. I'm pleased to hear that. Yeah. Brilliant.
Yeah, I'd say the same. I mean, I've always known that the email list is something that I do have an awful lot of people who I've contacted over the years, and I probably could start to kind of build it further. I guess because a lot of what I do is on a one-to-one basis, and I'm not necessarily, the service I offer is kind of quite tailored towards the business. But yeah, I think email lists and understanding the difference between social media and kind of what that means for you, and obviously the curse of hackers and people like that, where you have to just start again, is just soul destroying. So it's good to be mindful, I think, of what works really well for your business.
Yeah, I wrote a blog where I was talking about interruption marketing, and that is kind of an inbound marketing. So interruption marketing is more social media, and I'm more than happy to share the link with you. So rather than, you know, when you're kind of looking through a social media feed, you're being interrupted by an ad or a post, but the chances of that actually being seen by your ideal customer at the right time is quite low, whereas your email is like a direct line to them, you know. So starting, it's not that if you're putting effort into social media, it's not a problem, it's just it's the wrong way round. So the effort needs to be more over on blogging and website, and then repurposing it to social. Because yes, it's a great way of building your email list, getting them to take that next step, getting them onto your website, onto a blog, and then onto your email list. But being able to email them directly as if they are at the end of the line, you've got more chance of them actually seeing your content.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Oh, thank you so much, Natalie.
No problem at all. Thank you so much for coming. And
Yasmin, it was lovely to meet you. Hopefully I will see you on here again soon.
Right, great. Thank you so much. And I'll let you know with the links and etc. And I'll be around again next week on another topic. Okay, all right. Take care. Bye-bye.